How you doing, Pisces? Let's get right into this. Celtic cross for Pisces. Celtic cross for Pisces. Messages that will help them onto their highest path. Knight of Swords. Okay, so Knight of Swords. This is wanting to send a message about truth, wanting to speak the truth, wanting to make something known, to share your thoughts about things that we're seeing, having a message for someone in particular. What crosses you, Pisces, is the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. This is a lack of a new beginning. This is a lack of a new tangible beginning. Maybe a job loss or a lack of finances. A job transition, being laid off, or quitting a job. You want to send someone a message, but you feel like you don't have the funds or the tangible means to be able to do that, or in the position to do that. Foundation, Seven of Swords. This is someone who left a situation, possibly in a someone who had motives that did not align with the other party. This can be somebody who can be sneaky, somebody who can be exploitative and, takes what he wants and, with little regard of who it affects. This can be a selfish person. And you want to... Why is that at your foundation? Is somebody sneaky? Or you having plans for something else or starting something new without sharing exactly what those plans are with other people, doing things in secret, or somebody who did other plans like that, that kept plans secret from you. There is, you want to speak to somebody about the truth, something that was hidden, possibly about a job loss or a loss of money, due to somebody that was sneaky, or some bad investment in some way. Now the past is a Two of Cups in reverse. This is an end to a soulmate union. This is, soulmate could be anything, family, friends, but someone you had a deep, or at least a connection with, or a soulmate union with in some way. You've known each other in past lives, but this is a separation to that because somebody was sneaky. Maybe you try to hide some kind of job loss, or you were taken in some way from somebody who was very sneaky, somebody in the past who was a soulmate, and you're coming out of this breakup. In the past, it was a breakup with a soulmate union, a separation. Because somebody was being sneaky. Possibly somebody was hiding funds or using somebody for monetary means or tangible means or reasons. And perhaps right now you are working I feel like you're having money trouble, Pisces. It is. It's money trouble because somebody was sneaky in your past. Maybe somebody who did kind of use you for money in some way and possibly even hid money from you. Now you feel like you're here picking up the slack of whoever kind of took what they wanted and left. And now you're hard at work, kind of recouping losses or focusing on the things that you need to do, building your skill and mastery, putting the work in to build something new for yourself because you feel like you're coming from a place of lack. You're not doing as well as you'd like to in financial wise. And it looks like you're trying to pick up the pieces, really. I don't know if you left some situation without telling somebody because it was like you felt like it was at an end and you took a financial loss because of it, or you, but now you're trying to work on creating your own abundance and your own means of income. Now, your future, what is just before you, justice. Now justice is blind, and this is karmic law and this is karmic justice coming in and laying down its karma upon those, and regardless if it's good or bad, it's just a judgment. It could have been due to a court case, a divorce, or breakup of a marriage, or long-term relationships where there was a separation of assets, possibly a common law marriage or actual marriage. But perhaps you lost a lot within this situation that ended, and it could have been due to sneakiness in the past. Could have been due to an ending, and its foundation was there were secrets that were being kept, and while you were working really hard, somebody was here kind of reaping the benefits of your hard work. But justice will come. and put things back into place. Regardless of that, what that might be for you. Now, how you see yourself, your personal strengths and weaknesses, an individual perspective of you, the full. Pisces, you could have Aries within your chart. Also, Libra. But I see you jumping out to something new, something brand new, and it's like starting a brand new journey, unsure of what to expect in front of you, but feeling really optimistic and trusting the divine as to where it may lead you. And kind of taking a leap of faith within something. Now, I see optimism, I see newness, I see, excitement. And perhaps you left a comfortable situation in the past, although it was comfortable. You felt like it kept you in a place of a lack mentality, and you felt like you were working a whole lot and you weren't getting a lot in return, and because somebody you were dealing with was rather sneaky, that you had to pick up all of the slack. It was always somebody that would just skirt out on responsibility, and I feel that somebody got sick of it. Perhaps even you did. Perhaps you got sick of it. You felt like this was no longer was a beneficial situation for you, and this person was like bleeding you dry, and all you were doing was working, and this person here was like, living a life of luxury off of your efforts, and you didn't want to deal with it anymore, so you took a leap of faith out of it. Because, if this is the kind of company that you keep, that you are overworking to sustain them like another child, then what's the point? You want a partner, like an equal partner, and not somebody who you don't want another child to raise, And what crosses you is that you don't want to work with somebody, you don't want to give any kind of tangible offer to anybody anymore, and possibly you are saving your own money, or you no longer want to give any tangible monetary means to anybody that has been kind of even expectant of your help in the past, and you pulling your energy back is giving yourself justice. Now, now that you're jumping off to something new, you already feel a lot lighter. It's like you dropped a dead weight, and now instead of having an extra child to care for, it's like you just gave birth to an adult child that all you have in comparison is your responsibilities, which feels ridiculously light. And perhaps you even feel a little lighter on your shoulders and the way you carry yourself. And your optimism is kind of returning to you, because this was a rather desolate place in the past. This could be somebody who would make trauma bonds with people, who would pop in and out of your life. somebody who's around for a good time, not a long time, and your environment is someone who is quite selfish. This is a person who tends to overindulge a lot. This is a person who is emotionally unavailable. They hold all of their emotions to themselves because, they feel like they have everything that they need and they don't want to be beholden to anybody. And perhaps now that you pulled yourself back and your monetary contributions to help sustain this, or some kind of help, or now they see you as selfish. Whatever help that you were giving them, whether it was money, time, a place to stay, doing their work for them in some way, or them putting it off on you. It was like you would have this person or people around that kind of expected to dump all of their work on you, and maybe they would even make you believe that they couldn't do it themselves, that they're helpless, play the victim, that they don't know how, you have to do it for them. And you would always end up working overtime, and they would be relaxing and doing all the stuff that they want to do while you're over here picking up the slack of not only your work, but their work as well. And they're enjoying the benefits of all of that. And now that you no longer want to give it, you're giving yourself justice and you're starting off to something new, and now they see you as selfish. And now they are, once you have a person that you do a lot for, and, all of a sudden, when you refuse to keep giving or doing at that same level, then all of a sudden the people that you've helped out the most become your enemy, and they start seeing you as unreasonable and selfish, and but they don't even see of why it is that you pulled back in the first place, or why it is that they're being entitled in some way. They're just seeing you as, oh, now you got the problem, and then they're putting that off on you without accepting any kind of responsibility of the issue, whatever that issue may be. It could be to, some kind of maybe it could have been somebody that was using you for money or funds or time even, or favors, or whatever gifts or benefits that they found that they could utilize, whether it was even effort and someone to do extra work for them. They always found they expected you to do it, and then they would act really entitled and high and mighty and like you're the issue when you don't want to give it to them. That's this kind of people that they are, whether it's one person or many. And now you're pulling yourself back. You don't want to give anything to that anymore because, you're no longer allowing people to benefit on your efforts, and I don't blame you. Your hopes and fears, what you want something new, a wheel of fortune, a new cycle. There is going to be a new cycle, something brand new out of this cycle where you have a lot of exploitative or manipulative people around you. Now that you see it for what they are, you've got an opportunity to change the whole paradigm and be more cognizant of the people that you keep around you, and the things that they expect from you or ask of you, because you have something amazing coming up. As long as you're able to focus your energy of where it needs to be and put the work in, it will lead to amazing abundance and your own justice. But you know, you had to drop the situation in person because, you know, they were definitely draining you, and it will lead you to something amazing. Now, on top of it, this person did feel comfortable in a way because maybe you have known a lot of people like that in your life. And you're kind of worried that if you invest in anyone new or meet new people, that it will be the same kind of people over and over again. But it's about just being more aware of where your energy flows and exactly what you invest your time in, and how much can you be true to yourself by saying no when you need to, and being honest with yourself if you even have time to meet the needs of other people. And instead of doing an instantaneous yes to whatever requests that they made, is to try to take time to really assess if you are able to give that to them without taking from yourself. Because now you hope to start something brand new out of these old repeating cycles within your life. And I believe it will, as long as you keep yourself focused and you don't placate into the same type of cycles that were in the past. That if you see things repeating, then it's important you realize it, see it for what it is, and, you know, call it out, and, you know, make actions to pull yourself away from any kind of negativity or high drama people, because you want to start something brand new. And it will be, it's a whole new paradigm to something brand new. And, you know, depending if you decide to keep in the same cycles or not. Now, the outcome, what you will gain from this experience, the reward, the quality, or tool that will help you achieve a breakthrough. This is the Artist in reverse. Now, this situation, maybe in the past you tend to project a certain kind of personality on the people that you have around you, depending on what you thought they were. Maybe you thought them a lot better than they really were. Maybe you thought that they were just as nice as you were, or, you know, just had the same intentions that you did, as in, you know, but it turns out that it didn't. Maybe you, at times, saw things in a certain way that didn't reflect the reality of the situation. Well, maybe some kind of relationships or attachments, like feeling that you knew them more than you actually did, and you saw more of into a certain situation that was really there, and possibly it was due to this person kind of misleading you, saying that, you know, possibly future faking you and making plans for the future at first, saying that they wanted a plan, and perhaps there was a sense of being a little naive to what people say, because perhaps that you are quite honest in your approach and you expect everyone to be as honest as you are, or at least as mutually caring, for someone, especially if you took care of them. But, not everybody's your friend, Pisces. And you don't want to create anything with this person anymore, because the way you saw them didn't reflect the reality of the situation. Perhaps they put on a really good face and a facade that they had their stuff together, that, it was just a little while, that they needed to get back on their feet, or, but in the end, you saw that this person kind of just wanted the benefits, but they felt entitled to it, and they didn't really feel any need to return the favor in any way. But perhaps that's one of the things that you have to realize as well, that you don't want to do anything for anyone with an expectation that you would get something back for that, because if you do, you'll always end up getting disappointed. But when you give from a place of just, of your own abundance that you have, and that you're able to give without depleting yourself, and not expecting any kind of return, with the Six of Pentacles. Perhaps in terms of giving, that you are very generous and you do work hard for really all that you have, and but you find yourself putting too much effort and giving too much to people that kind of was just kind of there for the ride and what they could get. And they saw your giving spirit and they kind of took advantage of it. But perhaps it was because you saw them a certain way, and that was you projecting a certain persona on them, and it didn't reflect from reality, because you wanted to think that they were better than what they were. And perhaps this place of giving, of not only wanting to help, but was also in a way that came from a place of lack, that you feel like you had to earn someone's love by doing for them. And that became a kind of a covert transaction, that I'm doing this for you, so you should love me. Or I'm doing this for you, so you should care for me, But when you're giving from a place of shoulds and expectation, you'll get disappointed, and whatever dream or that you have for the situation, it never quite pans out. And you find yourself putting a lot of work and energy into somebody that you find out that you didn't know them all that well, and they really didn't have your best interest in heart to begin with. And now what you're going to learn is to try to see things from what they really are, instead of what you want to see within it. And it'll give you a power to be a little more discerning of your hopes and expectations and your dreams and your wants. will be seen more as just dreams and wants than something that would overshadow the reality. And it's allowing you to be a little more grounded and to be a little more aware of who and what you put your time and energy into. Because you imagine it to be a certain way that it really wasn't. And although it's sad that, your hopes and your dreams for something in particular feels dashed and unrealized, it'll also leave you to a certain level of development where when you see past the fantasy and your projections on something, you could see things for what they really are instead of what people try to present themselves. Or because I see that somebody here was definitely manipulative, like they try to spin a story for you or kind of a narrative that, but it was all kind of like, it was like that bait and switch, like they were baiting you for a certain thing, and possibly you have played into it a number of times, but you're no longer wanting to do that anymore because you see that it's not bringing you anything except a fantasy. And now you're starting to see through that fantasy, and which is making you a little more aware of your surroundings and your general awareness of your subconscious drives and your choices that are pretty much derived from your conscious and your unconscious aspects of you. And when you are kind of split into black and white and good and bad and ideal and less than ideal, and you stop seeing it for what it is and you start projecting a fantasy idea of what you feel it should be based on your perspective. And this is allowing you to see things for what it really is, and it's kind of cleansing the doors of perspective and allowing you to see reality for what it is and the people as who they are instead of what they try to project themselves to be. Perhaps these kind of people would kind of give you a sob story, about how their life was hard and, how they're just down and out and how, they're a good person and everyone did them wrong, and you would really eat it up in the past, But now you're kind of seeing things for what they are. And usually if somebody's life is totally in a wreck, and they're calling you out of the blue asking for money or help, or it's usually because they don't have their stuff together. And as adults, we always have a hand in to where we are to some degree. And if we refuse to accept that kind of reality of what we attributed to our situation and where we're at now, then we will never really learn. And the whole point of situations like this is to grow, right? Is to learn things about ourselves and the world around us, and how it is we could be more aligned with our path in life and with spirit. Now, you could be having money trouble at the moment, but, you know, perhaps you feel like you don't have enough, or not a lot is coming in, or perhaps you thought something was going to be a lot more fruitful than it would be, or it's taking longer for you to gain some kind of like following or monetary gain from where you're going towards. But, you know, there's a need to put the work in and understand that it's going to take time and effort, and not to let yourself be discouraged by the fact that it's taken longer than you thought it would to realize a certain goal. It's time for you to put in the work and to put work in whatever business venture that you're going towards, some creative outlet, some creative drive that you're making towards a business, or, you know, something that you build skill and mastery in. It's time for you to put the work in. There is a limited amount of time that this cycle is open for you to do that, and, you know, what you get is the time and effort that you put into it. It's not going to be instantaneous. It's just about small incremental steps, and understanding that, you know, it's not about the destination, but the journey and the resilience and the consistency of putting the work in. Now, a leg up. I feel like universe is giving you this time to put in. Perhaps you feel like you need more help than what you have, and you know, I feel like somebody will come in and offer some kind of assistance to you. And if it's not universe coming in and offering this time towards you, perhaps you had a downtime of being in between jobs and you feel stuck at the moment. You feel like, you know, you wanted to work with somebody or a partnership with somebody, but in the end, perhaps any kind of partnership that you have, you found yourself giving up way too much power, and, you know, allowing somebody to have too much say within your situations that you were trying to work on, which threw you off track too much, because you would feel more inclined to ignore your own intuition and follow someone else's, because there is a questioning of your own skills, a lack of trust within yourself. And whenever you give that power and that self-trust, and you don't listen to your own intuition, you know, you feel like someone will come in and to mislead you, and they have in some way. Now, whoever left your life, or you ended up leaving, and I see that you ended up leaving, starting to somewhere new, and you gave yourself justice by no longer working with this person, because you're trying to clean up the messiness within your life and to focus on the things that actually are important to you, which is to reestablishing yourself and your stability and your home. And you no longer want to allow a bunch of sneaky people into your life to throw you off balance. And now you're cleaning house. This cleaning house is going to lead you to your abundance and good fortune in a new cycle. But the way you do that is that you got to pull your energy back into people who are selfish and, you know, are non-reciprocal, and who has their life in a mess because, you know, it's not like you know, I'm not saying don't ever help anybody, but I'm saying, you know, if their life is a mess, it's because usually, more than often than not, it's their choices that got them there. And if you got a person that continuously makes bad choices in your life, they're going to throw your life off balance. And, you know, this person was throwing your life off balance. He was disconnecting you from yourself and spirit. And, you know, karma came in, universe came in, and he helped you realize this or end it, because he understood that you had to clear this out. And now it's time for you to be aware that you can't keep people like this within your life. And even on a small scale, perhaps you did try to just go gray walk and just deal with them a little bit. But then you found the people like this would just take up so much of your time and energy. And, you know, like, they would ultimately, time is money. And if they suck up all your time, because if they have all the time in the world, you know, with little regard of how much time that you have and what you need to do in your work in it. And it's time for you to value your own time, because they obviously don't value yours. You're in an in-between stage right now. Be okay with the in-between. Perhaps this is, you know, a certain period where this is time for you to just put in the work and realize where your path is for the rest of your life. And if you play your cards right, this will be really amazing, as long as you don't invest your time and energy into non-productive means. It's time for you to go within yourself. Perhaps you have been in your emotions lately and feeling stuck. And perhaps there is a sadness and a rejection and a regret that you feel like you got tricked somehow, or you feel like you were rejected somehow, it's that rejection really that kept you around more than the person or situation, because perhaps that rejection made you want to work for that love and devotion. And perhaps that was a cycle that you've had in childhood too. And it left you in fear of kind of like replaying this whole childhood situation of overworking for love and affection that should have been offered to you for freely. You shouldn't have to work for love and affection, because if you gotta work for it, it's not authentic and it's not real. And it's time to not invest in superficial things and people who just suck up your time and energy and money, because what you invest your time in and what you invest your time and energy in, you will get more of. And it's, you know, it's up to you and what you want to do. and what direction you want to go in that regard. Take time to breathe. Perhaps you are feeling anxious and stuck. Take time to meditate, because, you know, with praying is speaking to God, and meditating is listening to Him. So feel free, if you feel anxious, to take some meditation, do guided meditations on YouTube, you know, just to center yourself and to quiet that busy mind if you have racing thoughts. But like I said, if you have to work for love, then it's not real, and that's not love, because love is given freely. And if you don't feel fulfilled or loved, then what's the point of continually putting work into something that you're not really getting what you want in the first place, right? But I think that's pretty much where it is. And yeah, just make a good choice for you, and you know what that is, and you get more of what you put into. But that's what I got for your Pisces. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Donation box below if you feel moved to do so. Sometimes I leave extra notes on the bottom of that. You know, if not, yeah. I will talk to you later. Bye.